What's the sluttiest thing you've done? When I was working at Renaissance Fair, F24, 18 back then, I had to flirt a lot to make sales. I was flirting with this lady, 25-ish, and she said she would buy something from me for a kiss. I leaned over the counter and kissed her. She then bought $600 worth of pewter, each thing was $150 to $300, from me. On a road trip matched with a girl on Tinder. Stopped by her place and banged it out while my buddy waited in the car. Good lad, patient lad. I gave the panties I was wearing to some dudes who asked for them at a club. They said they were having a bachelor party, like right in the middle of the dance floor. My sister said sorry, wearing pants I can't. You're wearing a skirt, give them yours, so I shrugged and dropped trow. Then she's like holy shit balls, I thought you'd go to the bathroom to take them off. For 5 minutes I was everyone's slutty hero. Holy shit, at my bachelor party I had to ask a girl for her panties. Was on the top floor of Sapphire in Vegas. Took him off right on the dance floor. Haha, maybe it was you. I was bartending and told her older, not very attractive woman I'd go home with her if she tipped me well. I was 22, she was easily in her mid to late 40s and she tipped me and the other bartender $200. I did as promised. That's just prostitution with extra steps. I guess it was worth it. 19-year-old me pulled the 40-ish-year-old player/coach of the local women's football, soccer, team purely because she had on a pair of dark red leather trousers. After a fairly long session with my hands practically glued to her ass, she asked me to come back to hers. I bluntly told her I'd only do that if she'd sit on my face whilst wearing them. She agreed. Went back to hers, had sex a couple of times and each time she brought me back to attention by sitting on my face. Still see her and her now husband around town fairly regularly. Name checks out. I blew a dude for a bootleg DVD of Benjamin Button. Trump. The Art of the Deal. Sitting alone in a McDonald's at 3 AM in the morning because that's the kind of lonely guy I was. In comes a party chick in a tight mini dress and slutty makeup, walking barefoot with heels in her hands. She comes up and asks if I had any chicken nuggets. I reply no, but I'll buy her some if she wants. 30 minutes later we're out back and she's got my dick in her mouth, stopping occasionally to eat a chicken nugget. Ever had a blowjob from a girl eating chicken nuggets? Feels weird, man. Good, but weird. Did anal sex with a girl I met on Adult Friend Finder. Pics did not match. Still smashed anyway. My brain said abort, but my whiner said stay. 3/10 would not recommend. I'm just impressed that site isn't a hoax. After I left my husband I was struggling to get by financially and an older man in his 60s offered me $300 to have sex with him. Despite the nearly 38-year difference in age, he was pretty handsome and I hadn't had sex in months, so I agreed. The sex was amazing and I could afford rent that month. Had a hookup with a girl from a pre-Facebook social media site. Later that same day I had a threesome planned with one of my best friends and a girlfriend that really wanted to get dreamed by 2 dudes. I felt really slutty. In college I was making out with a girl who I was friends with on the way back from the bar to her place, and I was planning on hooking up with her that night. Back at her house there are about 10 of us hanging out and I'm sitting on the couch with my arm around her shoulders. I get a text from one of the other girls who lives there and who had gone to her computer to order Jimmy John's for everyone that says come upstairs, so I did. I walk into her room, she closes her laptop and says we have 15 minutes before Jimmy John's gets here. I said okay and we had sex. Sorry, Katie. Freaky fast. Did you at least go back down and hang out with Katie like nothing happened upstairs? Had sex with a girl after knowing her for only 15 minutes. She even gave me a fake name. When I was in college, I worked at a day spa and did massage. As a guy, I only massaged women, but there was nothing I wouldn't do for a nice tip. Anything a woman asked me to do or directed my hand to do, I did. Anyway, a customer asked about me making a house call and offered me cash to make it. She was 60 plus and I was 20. The slutty part was that she offered me $30. So I had sex with a grandma for $30. Not my finest moment. Did you bang her on a plastic covered couch? Not my proudest fap. Met a chick from back in the AOL days at a public park. Was fucking her in the ass, I mean dropping back a foot, ramming it, and she's loving it. It was around dusk and off in the distance I notice a man about 30-40 yards away jacking it, so I stop. She starts asking why I stopped and reaching back trying to pull me back in, and I'm like, there's some dude watching, and she goes, it's okay, it's my husband, he likes to watch, don't stop. I finished. Sometimes from a chair. Sometimes from a closet. Almost always dressed as Superman. Met a guy on Tinder and invited him over 20 minutes later. He ended up leaving mid-sex after admitting he had a girlfriend. Whoops. Oh, shoot. I almost forgot. I'm in a relationship. Silly me. This happened to me. I came over and in the middle of foreplay, he's all, by the way, my girlfriend and I use condoms. I asked him if, like, was this okay? Sure. He washed his face and hands for 10 minutes after we finished, so I just left. Hosted a swingers party with 6 couples. Had sex with every woman at the party. I did something kinda similar, but I instead ended up banging all the girls in a German brothel in just one day. Dick was numb for like a week afterwards, was pushing rope hard by the end, but so worth it. I pulled a girl in town one night and ended up back at hers till like 6 the next day. While I was at here, I got a match, then a message on Tinder from another girl. Her message was, I bet the jumper would look good on me cooking you breakfast in the morning. I was at the next girl's about 2 hours later. Meanwhile, I'm sure one day I'll get a Tinder date. Had sex with 2 of my exes on the same day and went home with someone else. If you are a guy, that's actually pretty impressive. Not because of double standards, but the sheer stamina. Went abroad, matched a guy from Tinder, invited him to my Airbnb and slept with him all in the same day. Next day did the same thing with another Tinder match. The day after that, slept with the first guy again. It was a good trip. Once let a hot girl climb onto my shoulders at a concert. She said I was a good friend for doing that. I've been a civilian, I've enlisted, and I've been a federal worker. I just wanted to see how many different ways the government could fuck me. At age 11, I got to third base with the 16-year-old babysitter. Told my wife the story as an adult and she was horrified that I was used by someone like that. 11-year-old me was fucking stoked. Still don't know how to feel about it. You know, my first thought was, be stoked. Then I thought about the fact that I have a son who is about to be 10. Now, I too, do not know how to feel about it. Just remember, the people commenting are not as hot as you think. Shoot up and let me fap, damn it. This probably also doubles as a life pro tip. What I do when the bartender cuts me off for being too drunk or running out of money is I camp out in the bathroom and give blowjobs for drinks. I blow a guy and he is supposed to get me a drink. Granted, only usually a third of them follow through, but I still get a lot of drinks. I think we have a winner. Okay, I'm not gonna ask if you're okay, or tell you you've got a problem with alcohol or anything, you know? That's your life. You almost certainly know that's a little scatty, let's be honest, and I'm not gonna judge you for that. I don't know your life. What I am gonna say is I'm just gonna go ahead and give you some financial advice. If you're willing to suck dicks off strangers for things, you can suck dick for money, and definitely more money per dick sucked than what even a relatively expensive drink costs. Don't suck dick for drinks, suck dick for money, and then buy your own drinks. Hey, no judgment here, yet you might want to get help for your drinking problem. Edit. Both of them. My wife said we'd have sex if I did the dishes. She meant someday. I had sex in a car. In the high school parking lot. When I was an adult. We threw the used condom on the ground afterwards. I still feel guilty about that. Who wants to find a used condom when they get out of their car to go to school? What you should feel guilty about is littering. Some people. Shaking my head. Had sex with 7 guys at once at a bathhouse. You can't compete with gays on this. Met my wife on an extreme porn site. Edit. Since multiple people asked, no, it wasn't FetLife. It was a porn site. Specifically a fetishized misogyny erotica / caption blog I used to run. We met because she was a fan. Extreme like hardcore sex or extreme like bungee jumping and snowboards? Succeeded at triple threat challenge. 3 dates in 1 night with sex. I was expecting failure. Would never do again, the amount of anxiety was not cool. Suck pound I gotta go SEEYA. Damn. I tried a 7 and 7 challenge when I was 27 girls in 7 days. I got to 6 and 6 and on the 7th day after being invited over to a girl's house I decided I'd rather just jack off. Good on you. My first time ever seeing boobs was as a 14-year-old when my friend's 18-year-old hookup asked me to put my hands on them. We then awkwardly made out while he watched. This one doesn't seem like the rest. I once left 2 buttons unbuttoned at the top of my shirt instead of just the regular one. Whore. Had a threesome with my now husband and an internet friend 3 hours into meeting said friend for the first time. I had a girlfriend who was into going out and finding another girl to go with us. One night we were in the city and met a pretty blonde who was down for it. Seeing how we're away though, we hoped over to a nearby, rather glitzy hotel. As I was checking in, the woman at the counter asked will there be 3 people in the room. I follow her eyes back to the 2 women waiting here in lobby and said, unless we want to make it 4. She laughed nervously and showed up at the room at about 1 AM. One time as I was picking up my food from the drive-thru, the wind blew something in my eye and I accidentally winked at the cashier. You fucking scandal. 3 guys in 1 night on New Year's Eve after I left my long-term ex on Christmas Eve. One of them had a girlfriend. Yeah, post-breakup sex doesn't fix anything or feel good. Banged a girl whose name I didn't know. Went to a Tinder date and spent the night at his place. On the first date. Luckily he didn't kill or rape me, and we're coming up on 1 year in about a month.
Like and subscribe for more daily fresh new videos. Thanks for watching.